that we just covered, that's a handful of guys I like at each pick, right? Like these are kind of at the top of my list. Like, man, that would be awesome if they fell in the right spot. Now, if somebody higher than them falls, I'd be on board with that too. So let's do this. Let's move along now to, I want to hit this real quick since we were kind of talking about Green Bay. I've had this in the back pocket for a while. And I think it might have been Greg. I can't remember who it was. Somebody texted me and said, hey, Clayton, could you do a show or do a segment on things to do in Green Bay while people are there for the draft? So I just put a little list together. All right. Exploring Green Bay Football History Lovers Guide for the NFL Draft Visitors. Okay. And Tim, I know you're going to probably have a few more additions when we get through this, and I want to hear your take as well. So it just said, the article was put together by, AI in terms of the wording here. You guys know I didn't write this. Hey, Packers faithful and football history buffs, with the NFL draft rolling into Green Bay in 2025. This little city in Wisconsin is about to become the center of the football universe. If you're tuning into our show or Patreon, you know we're all about the green and gold. But one of our listeners hit me with a great idea. Let's talk about what to do in Green Bay when you're here for the draft. Whether you bleed green and yellow, should be gold, by the way, there. Grok, or you're just a fan of the game's roots, this town's got plenty to offer, especially if you're into football history. So here's your guide to the must-see spots with a heavy dose of Packers lore, including the graveside of the man himself, Curly Lambeau. Let's dive in. So obviously Lambeau Field at the heart of it all. You can't come to Green Bay and skip Lambeau Field. It's like going to Rome and ignoring the Coliseum. This isn't just a stadium. It's a shrine to football. Opened in 1957 as City Stadium. It was renamed in 1965 after Earl Curly Lambeau, the Packers founder and first legendary coach. With a capacity of 81,441 today, it's the NFL's oldest continuously operated stadium and home to some of the game's most iconic moments, like the Ice Bowl in 67, where the Packers beat the Cowboys in negative 13-degree weather. Listen, Tim, am I wrong? Just being around Lambeau is it's awesome. When we're there, there's so many cool things you can do in town, but I'm like, I just want to sit in the freaking parking lot the entire week that we're here, man. That's how I feel about Lambeau. What do you think, man? You're muted, bro.
Timmy.
I've done that once or 250 times or so in the last couple of years myself.
Every night, man.
Yeah, like Too Old for This is saying, favorite thing to do in Green Bay is just be here. And whether that's over by Lambeau or, you get on the east side of the river and, see the historic part of, where this beautiful franchise was founded. Just being up here, man, the people, the weather, the food. I mean, can't go wrong, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Does it ever get old, Tim? Like when you, because you're right there, right? And when I lived in East Nashville, right across the bridge, I crossed the Titan Stadium every single day that I went to work. It never once awestruck me. It never once made me be like, oh, here I am. You know what I mean? It never once got that feeling for me. The 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times that I've been in to Green Bay, it's like when I see that horizon, you know what I mean? Because it's nothing. There's nothing there. It's just homes. You see, and then all of a sudden you see the Mecca of football, and you're like, oh, holy you know what I mean? Do you get that feeling every time? Like, is it still there?
Yes, I still do. And even being a Milwaukee kid and making the trips up from Milwaukee and, seeing Lambeau over the years and things, and now being, a local for the last couple of years, it doesn't get old. If anything, you just get a little more familiar than I was when I was an out-of-towner, a little more familiar with the area, can kind of navigate and know where I'm going now. As opposed to just, making the trip up, tailgating, seeing a game and getting back on 41 or 43 and heading back to Milwaukee. So, it never gets old, man. I still get chills. Still just love being around there, just hanging around the facility. And, it doesn't get old, man. Never.
Yeah, Mrs. Green says literally every time Lambeau's within eyesight or whatever road we're on, Tim waves hello.
So true. So true. Gotta witness.
Unfortunately, you can't do this next suggestion during draft week because they shut down the tours. I called 6 months ago, and they're like, we don't know. I called 5 months ago. We don't know. We called 4 months ago. I don't know. 3 months ago, they went, we're not doing tours. So appreciate the heads up. So anyway, Emilio's never done a stadium tour.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Hey, he might have to just miss his flight, and then we'll do it. We'll do it next week,
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I'm completely prepared for it. If you say Clayton, you can go to a Packers game or do a stadium tour. Which would you rather do? I would rather do the stadium tour and watch the game on the TV.
Yep.
My Battle Command Central here, right?
Yeah.
It's just me personally.
That's because you're one of those tape guys, Clayton.
Exactly. So it says take a stadium tour to walk through the players' tunnel, peek into the locker rooms, and feel the ghosts of Packers legends cheering you on. Pair it with a visit to the Packers Hall of Fame in the Lambeau Field atrium. You'll see Super Bowl trophies, championship artifacts, and mind-blowing collection from the team's 13 world titles. I repeat, 13 world titles. Pro tip: book early. Draft week is going to be nuts with 240,000 to 250,000 visitors expected. So I think the Packer Hall of Fame is open.
Yeah, I was going to say the second part is open. I believe you can still do Hall of Fame tours. Again, though, probably just insane waits. Get your tickets early, plan ahead. I'm sure a lot of people will want to take a Hall of Fame tour.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Definitely. All right, let's see here. Next on
the list. Tim, have you ever done the full? Clayton asked, you haven't done the full actual tour where they actually let you?
Oh,
you have? Okay.
Yes.
I did it. I did it. Maybe, oh gosh, like it was right after they did the last renovation. And it was one of the times where I was with my late grandmother, and we got to go. They let us go on the grass for like 2 seconds, and then someone yelled at us for going on the grass, and they were like, "Don't go on the grass!" And it was like groundskeeper Willie, you know. He came out of left field. He's like, "Don't go on the grass." I was like, all right. We were all.
It's funny you bring that up while we're on that subject. Unprecedented access here to Lambeau Field's turf is going to happen during this draft experience. It's out on the interactive map is out. You can check it out on the One Pass application that you need to access the draft, but they are going to give everyone in attendance an opportunity to win a chance to basically walk on Lambeau Field, kick a field goal, do a Lambeau leap, all of that stuff. So I think we really lucked out, and we should all tip our caps and salute the grounds crew over there at Lambeau Field, because that, I can tell you, that never happens. I mean, you get these guys right here for top 30 visits. They don't get to walk on the grass. It doesn't happen very often. So something to keep in mind. That's hallowed ground, getting a chance to step on the hallowed ground at 1265. So keep that in mind during the draft.
And they've got what they call a Packers Heritage Trail. And along this Heritage Trail through Green Bay, you'll see these signs explaining everything. One thing I would suggest, and this is free of charge, when you get up there, go to Curly Lambeau's gravesite. It's in Alloway Cemetery, right, Tim? I can't remember the exact name. I think it's at Alloway.
Yep.
So, and the sign kind of tells you where it's at. It says he's buried in the southeast corner of Alloway Catholic Cemetery, which is located almost directly east of here. He is buried in a family plot along with his father, Markle, mother, Mary, and brother, Oliver, and his wife, the former Dorothy Haslam. Lambeau, co-founder of the Green Bay Packers and the driving force behind their survival, died of a heart attack on June 1st, 1965 in Sturgeon Bay. Funeral services were held 4 days later at Schumacher, I think is right. Funeral home in Green Bay. Burial was the same day. Pallbearers included Don Hudson, Hall of Famer, Arnie Herbert, Hall of Famer, Johnny Blood, Hall of Famer, 3 of Lambeau's Hall of Fame players. Former rival George Halas of the Chicago Bears was there, an honorary pallbearer. That's absolutely awesome. Quote, the final gun is sounded for Curly Lambeau. It says John Gale, longtime pastor at St. Francis Xavier Cathedral, said in his eulogy at the funeral home, the Lord will total up the final score, and may God leave him with a winning score. That's absolutely awesome, man. You guys don't know, when you talk about the gun, games used to begin and end with the gun.
Yep.
They would fire a gun in the air, and they would start rolling this old-timey clock on the scoreboard.
Yep.
And whenever that clock, I think they gave a gunshot for the 2-minute warning as well. But when the clock hit 0, fired a gun. All right, who won? That's back in the olden days, right? Curly's foot marker lies in front of a larger Lambeau tombstone. Another foot marker, which was donated years later, shows a sketch of Lambeau Field and the inscription, founder of the Green Bay Packers. I'm telling you, it's one of the first things I did my very first visit to Green Bay, and it was awesome. So glad we did it. So obviously, just goes on to talk about paying your respects there. It is cool, too. You'll notice here it says, just real quick, I think I've seen it here, gold flowers. Yeah, bring a green and gold flower, or just soak in the legacy. When we went, there was a bunch of green and gold flowers on the grave, and there was a couple of footballs that had the G embroidered on. Fans just leaving stuff like that at the grave, which is really cool. So it was just nice to know I'm not the only weirdo. It's like, man, I want to go pay my respects to Curly Lambeau. So now another spot here is visit Curly Lambeau's childhood home. This is fairly close, to where Tim is over on the east side. This is his childhood home, and you can actually tour it. You can rent it out. I thought about originally renting it out for the draft and us going there and hanging out, but the last I heard, it was not furnished well enough where you can actually stay in it. You can just rent it out to kind of have a little hangout type thing, right? Can't imagine they have great Wi-Fi in that house. I could be wrong, though, so we got to make sure we can stream up there. But anyway, it says, want to see where the legend got his start? Head to 613 North Irwin Avenue in Green Bay, where Curly Lambeau was born and raised. This historic house, built in 1868, is just a short drive from downtown and one of the oldest standing homes in the city. Born in 1898, Lambeau grew up here before starring at Green Bay East High School and later playing at Notre Dame under Newt Rockne. While it's a private residence now, so no knocking on the door, snapping a pic out front is a cool way to connect with the roots of the franchise.
Yes.
It's a hidden gem for any pack.
And tell your Uber driver, don't illegally park on Irwin Avenue.
I was going to say.
Don't do it.
Those people are like, please, don't come here.
So
park around the corner the legal way and walk over. Do it the right way.
Yeah. So we mentioned the Heritage Trail, right? And where it kind of starts is City Stadium. So City Stadium, guys, this is where this field was built, right? And the high school was built over the old field that they played on. And then this is now, it became City Stadium. So the Green Bay Packers played there until 1956, right? If I remember correctly, I think it was 57 that Lambeau was built. So this is the actual field. These kids get to play high school football on the same exact field, the area. Obviously, the surface has been replaced, that Curly Lambeau's Green Bay Packers played on. Now, they also played at Bellevue Park. They also played at where's the place closer to the river, Tim, that I'm trying to think of?
Hagemeister Park.
Yep. Really cool pictures you can go online and find of Hagemeister Park, too. Literally just had it roped off, the out of bounds roped off, and the people pulled their cars up right to the rope, and they were sitting on the hoods of their cars watching the ball games. So I swear I feel like I was born, 60, 70 years too late.
Wasn't that how they, when there was night games, all the cars would face towards the stadium, and that's how they got the light, was to have the
I'm sure they've done it at a time.
Dude, it just to me, it feels like the Field of Dreams type stuff. You know what I mean? You build a little freaking field in the middle of nowhere. If you build it, they will come kind of thing. I feel like that's Green Bay for football. It's it's insane.
SDM40 gets confirmation. Curly Lambeau's house 3 minutes from the Oval Office. There you go. For anybody who was asking. Okay, so
he was a Black Card member. He got in no matter what.
Jacob knows he works the door and he dances the poles. So, all right. So it says if you want more history on foot, check out the Packers Heritage Trail, the self-guided tour, or hop on the trolley tour.
Yep.
If you're here on a home game weekend, takes you through downtown Green Bay to spots tied to the team's early days. One highlight is the Old City Stadium site we just talked about, Green Bay East High School, where the Packers played from 25 to 56. You'll also pass the Neville Public Museum, which has a Generations exhibit with Packers memorabilia mixed into the city's story. It's a cool way to see how this small town became Titletown, USA. Now, we had dinner plans to go to this Hotel Northland, this next stop. That was our plan. We were going to have dinner with the guys, and it was basically going to be Tim and his wife, Emilio and his lady, and me and Mandy were going to go have dinner there. They have since done away with the evening dining there, but they do have kind of a sports bar set up type thing around the bar, kind of like a good lunch spot. So we're end up going somewhere else, but Hotel Northland is a must stop here when you're in Green Bay for sure.
Absolutely.
Step back in time at the Hotel Northland, 304 North Adams Street, a downtown gym dripping with Packers history. Opened in 1924, this elegant spot was a crash pad for players from both home and away teams back in the day, turning it into a football hub during this season. It's also where Vince Lombardi held team events, from press conferences to strategy sessions, making it a cornerstone of Packers lore. Fully restored and reopened in 2019. It's now a luxury, I guess is how you would say that, right? Luxury spot to grab a drink at the Walnut Room or even stay the night if you're feeling fancy. It's a must visit for any fan wanting to walk where legends once roamed. The other thing about this spot, when you go in, there's a handrail when you walk through the door, and at the corner of the handrail, they've got like this, I don't think it's bronze, but it's something like it's definitely some kind of metal where it's preserved, and it's a replica of Lombardi's fedora, his hat that he wore on the sideline. So it's just a nice little touch there as well. And I'm telling you, man, if you have one, I've never done this, okay? I've never done this. But if a man were to have one or two mini whiskeys up there in the walnut room, they got a sofa in the lounge that's really, really comfortable. Your wife's probably going to get pissed at you whenever the Uber shows up and she's got to shake you to wake you up to go outside. I'm just going to leave it at that. Heard a story once about a man doing that.
Yeah, we don't know who that is.
Yeah. Vince Lombardi's home. All right. This is still standing, right, Tim? We've talked about this. It's over on 667 Sunset,
yep.
Right?
This is something you would want to do if you're going to go to Curly's grave site in Alloway. This would be a good second stop, not too far away. Pretty quick ride over to Vince Lombardi's house. He had a couple places that he lived in while he was here, but this place on Sunset is the house that, you know, his kids grew up in while they were here, and this is where he lived the bulk of his time in Green Bay. Those infamous, basement get-togethers in the rec room, this is where it all happened right here.
Definitely. It says, for a quick dose of Packers royalty, cruise by 667 Sunset Circle in Green Bay, where Vince Lombardi lived during his legendary tenure with the team from 1959 to 1967. This modest ranch-style house was home base for the coach who led the Packers to 5 NFL championships, including the first 2 Super Bowls. It's a private residence now, so keep it to a drive-by. Not that kind of drive-bys, you knuckleheads. I know some of y'all listening in Milwaukee. All right? Not that kind of drive.
Easy killer. Easy killer.
Yeah. No trespassing, all right? But seeing where Lombardi plotted those iconic victories is a thrill for any football fan. It's just a few miles from Lambeau Field, making it an easy detour. So like Tim said, basically what you got, guys, is you've got the Fox River running, north to south, right, out of the bay. You got the east side of the river. You got the west side of the river. Lambeau's on the west side of the river. The east side is where a lot of these spots are. Like Alloway is kind of southeast, right?
Yep.
And you work your way north to where Lombardi lived, and then work your way on north to where City Stadium is, where Curly Lambeau's childhood home was. Downtown area, Tim, right, is where their front offices were back then, if I remember correctly. I remember seeing
Green Bay Press Gazette building is another stop you should check out when you're downtown. It's part of the Heritage Trail Tour as well. So all those, if you look it up there, all those locations are there. You can do self-guided, or you can, get on the trolley, whatever. But yeah, you should definitely check that out. See where the original offices were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Deadfish says Vince Lombardi is buried in Woodbridge, New Jersey. He is. And if you guys haven't seen it, go tonight on YouTube and just type in Vince Lombardi, A Football Life. Should be a 2-part series. And the funeral, when they show the funeral on there, man, it made me tear up. Hearing his daughter talk about how people line the streets of New York to see, the hearse take his casket and, bring him home. The music that NFL Films always is just unbelievable. You guys have got to check it out. Really, really cool.
The really cool thing too at Lombardi's house here is if you take a little walk to the park there along the river, you can look directly west and you can see Lambeau Field. You can see the big G off in the distance. Great photo opportunity. You don't have to worry about trespassing either at Lombardi's old house. So something else to check out if you're in that area.
Definitely. And again, when we mention these spots, don't go make yourself at home, right? Don't say, hey, PTA told me to go out there and put a tent on Lombardi's lawn. Don't do that.
It's not like the Oval Office. You can't just nuzzle up and
they run you out of
$1
there.
down.
They run you out of there.
No, they want you to come. Please come. Please. We need people,
All right, next, Titletown District. Listen, I'm a history nerd, but Titletown is unbelievable. Tim,
that's modern history right there.
Yeah.
There's no NFL draft in Green Bay without Titletown, and we got to say that, right? There's no Titletown without Mark Murphy. So just got to tip our cap to him. But yeah, this is like modern era history here. This development.
Definitely. And again, you guys can go look up a map of all this stuff as you get ready to attend, the draft. The Titletown is going to be, this is where everything's going to be happening for the draft, basically, right? They're going to be using the football field to run the 40s, kicking field goals, things like that. It's going to be an absolute blast. I think it's safe to say this now because I know he's moved since then. But when I was up there for my private tour, We got a double guide private tour, just me and Mandy. It was a 2-hour long tour of Lambeau and locker rooms. It was really, really cool. These Titletown Flats, Jordan Love actually lived there when they drafted him. He, with his rookie contract, right, first round contract, that's the thing that got me. Was our tour guide told me, he said, you didn't hear this from me, and I'm not mentioning his name, but Jordan Love actually lives in the Titletown Flats, and this was 3 years ago, right? He said, one thing I'll say about that kid, he said, he stays here a good chunk of the year, and he's always in the facility. He wanted to live at Titletown Flats so he could be close to the facility. So that was when I was like, I think this Jordan Love kid is going to be the real deal. Like, he just seems like he loves football, Seems like he's a real team guy. So anyway, looking at this map, just to give you a brief kind of overview, this is the Lodge Kohler, okay? Is a Lodge Kohler or Kohler Lodge, Tim? I always ask you.
Lodge Kohler.
Lodge Kohler. This hotel, it's expensive, but boy, is it awesome. We always get the room on this front face that overlooks Lambeau. It's just the best thing ever, man. Got an awesome coffee shop inside as well. Up here on the balcony area on the top floor, they've got the Tavern in the Sky. I tried to get us reservations, Tim. They said no can do. Probably going to be for all the TV production crews. As last time I was there, when I met with you, Jacob, for Monday Night Football, I believe it was Monday Night Football we went to, right? That last game we went to.
Yeah, that's what I was just actually going to bring up. Is that that was one of the funnest times ever. I don't. Was it Monday night? I don't think. Yeah, I think it was actually.
Yeah, it's Monday Night Football because me and Mandy had dinner in the it's escaping me now.
Do you remember you told me, you're like, hey, we got some nice seats here, and you can't be getting all rowdy or whatever, and you got to be kind of quiet. And we had guys behind us who got kicked out and got banned from buying beer, to the point where I was like, I'm gonna go get us a beer. And I believe I was the first one to ever get Mandy Green Bay Packer cheese curds, if I'm not mistaken, right? I bought her first Green Bay cheese curds. I believe that to be true. And then I went up to grab us another beer, and the guy behind us that just got kicked out, he's like, hey, buddy, they won't let you go up there no more.
They ain't going to sell you. They ain't going to sell you nothing. Jacob went. Walked on up. He came back with two tall boys. That guy was like, what the hell? It was absolutely awesome. But, yeah, like he said, I told him, we sat down and said, listen, man, my name's on these tickets. Let's don't be an ass anymore. All right. Let's and it was halfway through the first quarter, people were jumping all around us and everything. I was like, okay, maybe we can turn it loose a little bit. It got rowdy in there, didn't it? It was pretty cool. It was fun. But anyway, that's the Lodge Kohler. And again, Tavern in the Sky is awesome. Make sure you check that out. We were up there with the Monday Night Football production crew having dinner. It was cool. They were at the table next to us. They all had their lanyards and everything. It was really neat. So anyway, right here, Hinterland. In the wintertime, if you're going to go out here to the ice skating rink and hang out, you go in there. They got a fireplace in there, a couple fireplaces, I believe. They got a bunch of beer on tap, great food. They got a real good beer cheese soup last time I was up there. It was excellent as well. So I've tried beer cheese soup all over that town.
I was going to say, damn.
Yeah. So Hinterland's a cool spot. You got Arians Hill. That's where the tubing hill is, obviously. You've got a arcade in here, like the virtual golf arcade and all that stuff. I've never tried their pizza, Bates. Bates says Hinterland's pizza's good. Tim?
I have not had pizza at Hinterland. I will put that on my list, though.
We'll do that while we're up there. Man, that might be a good little spot to swing.
And the Top Golf Swing Suite actually just recently changed. That's Bel Air Cantina now. So it's a different restaurant over there. And I'm not sure if that's what they put there, but I know they're redoing that old swing suite there. So
do they still have the turn? Is it still there?
No, that's what's changing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's going to be a rebrand, basically. I think they're still going to have the swing suites inside, though, I believe. Okay. Don't quote me on that. Guess we'll find out when we're stumbling around up there next week. Huh?
That's right. We'll give it all a look. And again, you got there's a health club up here. There's a medical facility as well. There's other apartments outside of the Titletown Flats now. Just really cool stuff. When I was there, you go up this hill. This is kind of elevated right here. I guess that would be south, I believe, of that football field. And they had the big replica Super Bowl rings on display and everything. Really cool. It's just you can get up on top of that hill and take a picture back at the football field, Titletown and Lambeau. It's a really good shot. So make sure you
don't forget to move your cursor up there. Move your cursor back up just to the south of of Lodge Kohler there at the top there. A little bit, now move it to your left.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit right there. Good old
what's
Crow's
right there,
West, baby. Crow's West. Don't forget the
There it is, Tim.
Hey, there they are.
So this Sports Illustrated cover was actually, this picture was taken at Crow's West.
Is that I'm not going to get braces? Is that one that weird?
And the booth is exactly the same everything.
Everything's same.
Yep.
And the burgers are still as greasy, let me tell you. Yeah. So I won't go into too much detail. I would just say this. I had a lengthy conversation with an older lady, and she would be okay with me saying that. Mandy and her ended up hugging before Mandy and her ended up, they just loved each other by the time, we left there. She was the owner. I'm almost positive is what I understood. And I'll just say I really, really appreciate the people that they are and what they stand for. And I'll just leave it at that. So, again, this Sports Illustrated cover for everybody on the pod, they can't see this. It's Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre in a booth at Crow's West. And it says the missing links as Holmgren's holding up a bright. Pretty cool. It says Green Bay was going nowhere until they arrived in 92. That's obviously at Crow's West. No trip to Green Bay is complete without some classic Wisconsin eats. And Crow's West, 1990 South Ridge Road is a spot to grab a butter burger right across from Lambeau Field. Since 1935, this family-owned joint has been a Packers fan favorite, serving up juicy burgers slathered with a generous pat of butter because in Wisconsin, that's how we roll. Pair it with fries and a cold beer and soak in the draft day vibe that's been part of the Lambeau experience for decades. It's just a short walk from the stadium. Literally, it's a 2-lane road that separates Crow's West from Lambeau's parking lot. It's perfect for a pre-draft bite or a post-tour refuel. Obviously, you got to go to the pro shop. Tim has gotten in trouble in here, a time or 12, right? Make sure you check out the pro shop and get all your Packers gear. So there she is. That's that view I was talking about, by the way. Is that not gorgeous? And this has changed a little bit off to the left. No, it hasn't. No, that's how it looks now, right, Tim? They got the parking lot now.
Yeah, and they actually moved some of they had some landscaping and things there along the parking lot that they kind of cleaned up and moved around in anticipation for the draft. So the Titletown area is a pretty open space once you're inside the draft perimeter. So you have plenty of room to move around over there. It's going to be great. But that's a great shot, though, right there. Just looking directly east at Lambeau over Titletown. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So wrap up. We won't hit it. You guys know we've covered it all. All right. So there you go. That's what to look for in Green Bay. It was Greg S. There you go. Greg S. was actually. Let me just read it. Heck with it. Green Bay during the NFL draft is going to be electric, and these spots will give you the full Packer experience, history, legends, and all. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just here to soak up the legacy, you'll leave with stories to tell. Big thanks to Greg S. from our Patreon group for the special request to put this together. Hope it helps all you draft visitors out there. Get your own Green Bay must-do. Got your own Green Bay must-dos. Hit us up on Patreon or in the comments. We'd love to hear them. And, hey, if you're Googling things to do in Green Bay for the draft, welcome to Titletown. Go Pack Go. So
cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them, though.
Pretty darn cool, man. I love that town. Love it. I will have a home there very, very soon. There's no doubt in my mind. So.
Let's go.
Let's go.